Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are talking about a coin that never says the word Kennedy, yet many people confuse it with modern half dollars, and that mistake has cost collectors thousands of dollars. This is the 1918 United States of America Walking Liberty half dollar, and some versions of this coin have sold for prices that feel unreal when you realize they once bought a loaf of bread. Stay with me, because this coin hides one of the most important mintmark secrets in US coin history, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why one tiny letter can turn a silver coin into a five-figure treasure. Take a close look at the front of the coin. Bring the camera in slowly. Lady Liberty is walking toward the rising sun, wrapped in the American flag, carrying branches of peace. This design isn't just beautiful, it's considered one of the greatest coin designs the United States has ever produced. Collector books still rank it at the very top. Now flip the coin over. You see the eagle, strong and alert, standing on a mountain ledge. Look near the lower left or right edge on the back. That's where the story changes completely. In 1918, this coin was struck at three different mints: Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver. Philadelphia coins have no mintmark and are the most common. San Francisco coins are scarcer. But the real legend is the 1918 D, the Denver mint version. Here's the cliffhanger. The 1918 D is one of the lowest mintage Walking Liberty half dollars ever made. Far fewer were struck, and even fewer survived heavy circulation during World War I. Show a tight close-up of the D mintmark here, because this is the moment collectors lean closer to the screen. Most people don't realize these coins were used hard. Silver was money. People spent them daily. That's why finding one in strong condition is incredibly difficult. Liberty's hand, her face, and the eagle's feathers wear down fast. When those details are sharp, collectors pay attention. Now let's talk value, because this is where jaws drop. A heavily worn 1918 Walking Liberty half dollar still sells for around $20 to $40 just for its silver and history. A nicer circulated example can reach $100 or more. But a genuine 1918 D, even in average condition, often sells for several $1,000s. In high grades, professionally certified, some 1918 D Walking Liberty half dollars have sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. That's not hype. That's real auction history. And then there are errors. Some examples show weak strikes from worn dies. Others display double details or unusual planchet flaws. These are rare, and when authenticated, they push prices even higher. Here's a detail most people miss. The date 1918 sits in a spot that wears down quickly. If the date is bold and complete, the coin instantly jumps into a higher value category. So let me ask you. Do you own an old half dollar that you've never checked closely? Have you ever looked for a mint mark on the back? And which classic US coin would you love to find just once in your lifetime? To wrap it up, the 1918 Walking Liberty half dollar is pure American history in silver. A legendary design. A wartime issue. And one tiny letter that separates a common coin from a life-changing find. Most are valuable. Some are extraordinary. Top 2. Today we are talking about a Kennedy half dollar most people wouldn't even bother to pick up, yet this exact coin has surprised collectors more than once. The 1983 D Kennedy half dollar. It looks modern. It's not silver. And almost everyone assumes it's worth 50 cents. That assumption is where the story gets interesting. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin is different from most Kennedy halves of its era, why collectors still search for it in rolls today, and which rare details can push its value far beyond face value. Stay to the end, because condition and mistakes matter more here than you'd ever expect. Start with a clean close-up of the front of the coin. Kennedy's portrait is sharp, clean, and familiar. Now tilt the coin slowly under the light. The surfaces tell you a lot. Flip it over and look near the bottom of the reverse. That small D mint mark means this coin was struck in Denver. Here's the key moment in history. In 1983, the U.S. Mint did not issue Kennedy half dollars in regular mint sets. If you wanted an uncirculated example, you had to find it in circulation or pull it from original rolls. Most were spent. Most were handled. And most picked up marks fast. That one decision by the mint is exactly why high-grade 1983 D. Kennedy half dollars are surprisingly scarce today. Show a side-by-side shot here. One circulated coin with dull surfaces. One sharp, clean example with strong luster. The difference jumps off the screen. These coins are copper-nickel clad, so there's no silver value to lean on. Everything comes down to condition. And in top grades, condition changes everything. Now let's talk about the coins that keep collectors watching until the end. Errors. Some 1983 D. Kennedy half dollars were struck with doubled lettering, especially in the date or the word Liberty. Others show off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or weak strikes that soften Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. These aren't common, and when they're authenticated, collectors pay attention. Zoom in tight here. Show the lettering. Show the edge. Let viewers see how small differences make a big deal. Here's a fun fact most people miss. Because half dollars were rarely used in daily transactions by the 1980s, many 1983 D coins sat in bags and rolls, banging into each other. That's why finding one with clean fields and strong luster is harder than it sounds. So what about value? A typical circulated 1983 D. Kennedy half dollar is usually worth face value. Maybe $1 if it's clean. But an uncirculated example can sell for $10 to $20. Coins graded at the highest levels have sold for several $100s at auction, purely based on condition. Error coins can go even higher, depending on the type and strength of the mistake. So let me ask you. Do you have any 1980s Kennedy half dollars sitting in a drawer or coin jar? Have you ever checked them closely under good light? And which modern coin would you love to find in perfect condition? To wrap it up, the 1983 D. Kennedy half dollar proves that a coin doesn't need silver to be interesting. No mint sets. Heavy circulation. Scarce high-grade survivors. And rare errors hiding in plain sight. Most are worth 50 cents. Some are quietly valuable. Top 3. Today we are talking about a Kennedy half dollar almost everyone ignores, yet one version of this exact coin has sold for more than most people expect from a modern half dollar. The 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar. It looks ordinary. It feels ordinary. And that's exactly why it keeps surprising collectors. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin still matters, how one tiny detail separates common pieces from collectible ones, and which rare mistakes from this year can turn a 50-cent coin into something far more interesting. Stay with me to the end, because condition and errors are everything with this one. Start with a clear close-up of the front of the coin. You see John F. Kennedy's portrait, clean and familiar. Now tilt it slowly under the light. This is a Philadelphia coin, marked with a small P mint mark. Flip it over and let the eagle fill the frame. The design didn't change, but the story behind this year did. By 1998, half dollars were barely used in everyday life. Most people didn't spend them. Banks didn't order many. And because of that, fewer people paid attention to saving clean examples. Millions were struck, yes, but truly high-grade survivors are harder to find than the mintage numbers suggest. These coins are copper-nickel clad, so there's no silver content here. Value comes from condition and from mistakes at the mint. Show a side-by-side shot now. One coin with bag marks and dull surfaces. Another with sharp detail and bright luster. That difference is where collectors start paying attention. Now here's where things get interesting. Errors. Some 1998 P. Kennedy half dollars show doubled dies, especially in the date or the word Liberty. Others were struck off-center, leaving part of the design shifted or missing. A small number show clipped planchets or weak strikes that make Kennedy's hair look flat and unfinished. These aren't easy to spot, which is why people miss them. Zoom in tight here. Let viewers see how doubling looks under magnification. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Here's a fun detail most people don't know. In 1998, the U.S. Mint also struck a special matte finish Kennedy half dollar for collectors only, as part of a premium set. That coin looks very different, but many people confuse regular 1998 P circulation coins with something special when they first see the finish. Knowing the difference saves money and creates opportunity. So what is this coin actually worth? A circulated 1998 P Kennedy $half is usually worth face value. A clean uncirculated example can sell for $5 to $15. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional services have sold for several $100s at auction. Error coins can go higher, depending on the type and strength of the mistake. That's a big gap for a modern coin most people ignore. So let me ask you. Do you own any 1990s Kennedy $half? Have you ever checked them closely under good lighting? And which modern coin would you love to find in perfect condition? To wrap it up, the 1998 P Kennedy $half proves that modern coins can still surprise you. No silver. No dramatic design change. Just condition, rarity at the top grades, and mint errors hiding in plain sight. Most are worth 50 cents. A few are worth much more. Top 4. Today we are talking about a Kennedy $half most people walk right past, yet this exact year has quietly surprised collectors again and again. The 1986 Kennedy $half. It's not silver, it's not old, and it doesn't look special at first glance. But that's where people get caught off guard. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin still matters, what makes some 1986 halves far more desirable than others, and which small details can push a common-looking coin into real collector territory. Stay with me, because condition and minting quirks tell the real story here. Bring up a clean close-up of the front of the coin. Kennedy's portrait is sharp, modern, and familiar. Now tilt it under the light. You'll notice the surfaces right away. Flip the coin over and let the eagle fill the frame. In 1986, these coins were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver, marked with a P or a D mint mark. There's no silver here. These are copper-nickel-clad coins. And that's exactly why most people ignore them, but here's the twist. By the mid-1980s, $half were barely used in daily spending. Banks didn't order many. Cashiers rarely saw them. Most went straight into storage or sat in bags where they picked up marks. That makes high-quality examples far scarcer than the mintage numbers suggest. Show a side-by-side shot here. One coin with heavy bag marks and dull fields. Another with clean surfaces, strong luster, and sharp detail. This is where collectors start paying attention. Now let's talk about what keeps people searching. Errors. Some 1986 Kennedy $half show doubled lettering in the date or the word Liberty. Others were struck off-center, leaving part of the design shifted or missing. A small number show clipped planchets or weak strikes that flatten Kennedy's hair or soften the eagle's feathers. These are not common, and when they're authenticated, the value jumps fast. Zoom in close on the lettering here. Let viewers see how subtle doubling can be. This is the kind of detail people overlook for years. Here's a fun detail many collectors forget. In 1986, the US Mint was improving striking pressure and die life, which means some coins look exceptionally sharp while others look strangely weak. That contrast makes this year especially interesting to specialists. So what is the 1986 Kennedy $half actually worth? A circulated example is usually worth face value. Maybe $1 if it's clean. A true uncirculated coin can sell for $5 to $15. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional services have sold for several $100s at auction. Error coins can sell for even more, depending on how dramatic the mistake is. That's a big range for a coin most people never think twice about. So let me ask you. Do you have any Kennedy $half from the 1980s sitting in a drawer or box? Have you ever checked them closely under good light? And which modern coin would you love to find in perfect condition? To wrap it up, the 1986 Kennedy $half proves that modern coins can still surprise you. No silver. No dramatic design change. Just scarcity in top condition, minting quirks, and errors hiding in plain sight. Most are worth 50 cents. A few are quietly valuable. Top 5. Today we are talking about a Kennedy $half that most people never actually saw in their change, and that's not an exaggeration. The 1973 Kennedy $half. It looks normal. It feels normal. But here's the shock. You were never supposed to find this coin in circulation. In the next few minutes, I'll explain why this year is completely different from most Kennedy halves, how the US Mint quietly handled production, and why collectors pay real money for examples that look almost identical to 50-cent coins you already know. Stay with me, because one hidden detail makes this coin far more interesting than it first appears. Start with a clean close-up of the front of the coin. Kennedy's portrait looks familiar, sharp, and calm. Now tilt the coin under the light. The surfaces matter here. Flip it over and let the eagle fill the frame. Look closely near the date area and the fields. This coin tells its story through what's missing as much as what's there. Here's the twist that makes 1973 special. In that year, the US Mint did not release Kennedy half dollars for circulation at all. No rolls. No bank releases. If you wanted one, you had to buy it directly from the mint in a government-issued mint set. That means every genuine 1973 Kennedy half dollar from Philadelphia or Denver started its life as a collector coin. Let that sink in for a second. Show a shot of an original mint set here, then cut back to a loose coin. Most of these coins were later broken out of their sets, handled, traded, and sometimes even spent. That's why finding one today in truly pristine condition is harder than people expect. Now let's talk materials. These coins are copper-nickel clad. No silver content. That alone causes many collectors to overlook them. But value here has nothing to do with metal. It's about scarcity in top condition. There are 3 versions to know. The 1973 with no mint mark from Philadelphia. The 1973 D from Denver. And the 1973 S proof struck in San Francisco. The proof coins have mirror-like fields and frosted details, and they were made specifically for collectors. Show a slow pan across a proof coin here to highlight the contrast. Here's a small cliffhanger collectors love. Because these coins were never circulated officially, grading standards are brutal. Tiny marks that wouldn't matter on other years suddenly matter a lot here. That's why top-grade examples are scarce. Now let's talk errors, because this is where things get exciting. Some 1973 Kennedy half dollars show double dies in the lettering or date. Others were struck off-center or show weak strikes that flatten Kennedy's hair or the eagle's feathers. A small number show clipped planchets or unusual surface defects. These are rare, and when certified, they push prices far beyond what most people expect from a modern half dollar. Zoom in tightly here. Show the lettering. Show the edge. This is where collectors pause the video. So what is the real value? A typical 1973 Kennedy half dollar in average uncirculated condition often sells for a few dollars. A clean mint state example can reach $10 to $20. Proof versions usually sell in a similar range, depending on condition. But coins graded at the highest levels have sold for several $100s at auction. Verified error coins can go higher, sometimes dramatically, depending on the error. That's a serious range for a coin most people don't even know exists. So let me ask you. Do you own any old US Mint sets? Have you ever checked them for Kennedy half dollars? And which Kennedy half dollar would you love to find in perfect condition? To wrap it up, the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is a quiet collector coin with a loud story. No circulation release. Mint set only origins. Tough grading standards. And rare errors hiding in plain sight. Most are affordable. Some are surprisingly valuable. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more real coin stories. Watch the next video too, because the next coin we talk about might be one you've overlooked for years.